What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about some British myths. You know, here in America, we have some pretty strange myths, actually, like the theory that Elvis is still alive and that he's been sighted numerous times around America. That he's still alive somewhere. But today I thought it would be fun to learn about some British myths that I've never heard of before. I don't know if they have any credibility or how strange they are, but I think this is going to be pretty entertaining. So, let's take a look.
Number 10. TV license vans.
Huh?
Chances are you've heard this story if you've ever considered trying to dodge paying the license fee, which you don't legally have to if you don't meet certain requirements.
Oh, right. Okay, so in Britain, you have to pay for something called a TV license, right? Okay, luckily I've heard about that before. I've learned about the TV license. That's a very British thing. We don't have that here in America. So you have to pay for it, right? And if you don't pay for the TV license, is this saying that there's going to be vans following you? Staking you out? Is that what this is?
Allegedly, the BBC sends roving detector vans up and down the country, outfitted with state-of-the-art technology that can not only detect which houses and flats have active televisions, but what channels those TVs are tuned to.
What? Oh my, they even have pictures of the vans? What? Is this a well-known, myth or conspiracy, dare I say? Is it to make you a little scared so that you just pay your TV license?
Suffice it to say, technology like this doesn't exist, and it's
Yeah.
certainly not being kept top secret by the BBC just so they can fleece you out of 150 quid.
Right.
Vans have been spotted around the country from time to time, but they're just an elaborate scare tactic, despite the BBC still claiming they work as recently as 2013.
I don't know. I don't know how seriously we should be considering these myths. I mean, the video here, the title says, ridiculous British myths, so I don't know. Anyone out there been, stalked by BBC vans?
Number 9. The Windsor Spiders. The papers had a field day with this baffling story all the way back in 2001, when it was claimed that BT engineers found a den of massive venomous spiders underneath Windsor Castle.
These are funny. These are good. Wow, these are entertaining. I'm not disappointed. A den of giant spiders hiding under Windsor Castle? Okay. I mean, I'd believe it.
Though papers also reported that the spiders were poisonous, which they'd only know if somebody had tried to eat one. The so-called experts said that the species was, in fact, brand new and was about 5 inches long, including the legs. So what were these terrifying giant spiders? Well, they were the almost completely harmless European cave spider, which
I mean, so there were spiders. Hey. Don't dismiss this too fast. There were spiders under Windsor Castle. They're just disgusting cave spiders. I don't know if that makes it any better.
lives across numerous continents. But would you believe when the papers found out the spiders were very common and not dangerous, they stopped reporting on the story entirely?
Of course. Was this actually a big story in Britain at the time? That's hilarious. That's like something that'd be in the American news, like spiders under the White House. So they're not like 12 feet long. They're just like 5 inches long, which is pretty... That's a big spider. Like, I don't care who you are. That's still disturbing.
Number 8. London Bridge Auction. Big Ben, St. Paul's Cathedral, the London Eye, these are all major London landmarks recognizable around the world.
Right.
But in 1968, a rich American, Robert McCulloch, tried and failed to buy another iconic landmark, Tower Bridge, so that he...
An American tried to purchase Tower Bridge? Really? How rich was he? Was this ever seriously considered?
He could have it shipped across the Atlantic to be rebuilt in Arizona.
This is real? Like an American actually wanted to purchase the bridge and have it shipped to America? To Arizona. I thought like maybe he just wanted to put his name on the bridge or something. Say he owned it. He literally wanted to own the bridge, like slice it out and take it home. What?
However, there was a miscommunication and he mistakenly bought Old London Bridge instead. At least, that's what you may have heard. In actuality, only half of this story is true. London Bridge was shipped overseas and rebuilt by McCulloch in Arizona after he won the auction.
Wait, what? Wait, what? He bought the wrong bridge, or... He actually did it, though. I mean, that's the amazing part to me. This person actually bought a bridge and had it shipped to America from Britain. That you can... man, this is just rich people things. I didn't even know that was possible. Just...
Heard. In actuality, only half of this story is true. London Bridge was shipped overseas and rebuilt by McCulloch in Arizona after he won the auction, but he never once thought he was actually buying Tower Bridge.
He actually bought a bridge in London and had it shipped to America? This really happened. This isn't even a myth. This actually happened? I can't believe this.
Perfectly happy with his bizarre purchase in reality. Number 7. St. George and the Dragon. The 23rd of April each year marks St. George's Day, the day we celebrate the patron saint of England.
Okay.
The famous legend says that St. George slew a fearsome dragon to rescue a princess. But did he really? Bizarrely, there are people who believe that he did slay a dragon.
Come on. Why do we got, most of this is just in good fun. Even though that American really did buy that bridge. This is like, did St. George really, fight a dragon? Does that really need to be on this list? Because of course he did.
By dragons never having existed. But he also wasn't English, and historians variously believe he may have either come from central Turkey or as far south as Palestine. It's thought that the story is derived from similar stories in ancient cultures, and that it could be inspired by a story of someone killing a crocodile, or is simply an allegory for the devil.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised this is a myth. It's about fighting a dragon, so I think we all could have kind of assumed this. The BBC might be following you in a van. It's possible. This is did this guy actually fight a dragon? Probably not. But I didn't even know about this holiday or this special day in England. So that's cool. I didn't even know about this.
Number 6. The Isle of Wight. The Isle of Wight is, of course, very real, and was a favourite holiday spot of Queen Victoria.
Okay.
But a popular urban legend claims that you can fit the entire population of Earth on the Isle of Wight if you packed us all in like sardines.
Is that it? Is that it right there? Is that the Isle of Wight? could the population of Earth fit there? Billions of people? I don't think so. What kind of weird myth is this?
There's a few ways to do the maths on this, depending on what the world's population is and how many people you decide to stick into 1 square meter.
That's what I thought. Can't you just actually calculate this with mathematics? How is this even a myth?
But no matter your method, the conclusion is always the same. No, you really can't fit the entire population of Earth onto this one island just off.
Are these myths that British people out there, have you heard of any of these myths? Because some of them are fun, and others are just did someone really fight a dragon? Can you fit the population of Earth on this island? Like, some are objectively provable to be false, whereas, I think a good myth you kind of can't prove one way or the other. Like the vans following you.
Off the south coast. Number 5. Alien big cats. Sometimes called phantom cats instead, you've probably seen stories to this effect crop up in local newspapers, as they appear regularly.
Alien big cats? Any relationship with the giant spiders under Windsor? This has been in the British, newspaper? The news. Actually, big alien cats?
Essentially, somebody snaps a photo of a cat that looks a bit too big, and it does the rounds in the media, with some theorising that the cat might be a big cat on the prowl in Britain, like a panther or a leopard.
Oh.
Ultimately, loose big cats have been found in the country, and they've been illegally smuggled in as exotic pets.
Wait, there's really been giant cats? Like tigers? Set loose in Britain? Oh my god.
A loose puma was even caught in Inverness in the 1980s, but the belief that there's a wild and growing population of jungle cats somewhere in the UK persists, with many going out to look for evidence.
Hey, I'm not here to judge. There could be giant alien cats in Britain hiding. These myths are all over the place, but it's pretty fun to hear.
4. Wild haggis. Adults know what haggis really is, but the wild haggis myth is something you might have played along with for a joke with young children.
Wild haggis. Haggis. I've learned a little about haggis. No offense, to UK culture, but not for me. I didn't know there's a myth about what's wild haggis.
If they're heading to Scotland, tell them to look out for wild haggis roaming the Highlands. The legend of the wild haggis is such an extensive inside joke that there are many drawings of the haggis and even elaborate fake taxidermy creatures.
Huh? Wait, what? We're saying that haggis is alive? And wandering around Scotland? That's the myth? That's what we're saying?
Some even say that the haggis's legs are shorter on one side of its body so that it can better climb the steep mountains. Shockingly though, it's not just children.
Like the haggis has legs? And a consciousness? This is weird. I don't know who came up with this, but you got some imagination. The myth is that haggis is alive and wandering around Scotland. Am I getting this right?
Many tourists visiting the UK, primarily Americans, have also been found to believe that the wild haggis is a real animal.
I believe
Number
it.
3, the Loch Ness Monster.
Oh. Yeah, I've heard of the Loch Ness Monster. Most Americans have heard the name Loch Ness Monster. Is this a British thing? I don't know where the Loch Ness Monster originates, but is this actually a British myth? Because, all Americans have heard of the Loch Ness Monster.
While we all know, deep down, that Nessie probably isn't real, you'll struggle to find a Brit who doesn't really want to believe that she's out there in Loch Ness.
There he
Hunting
is!
the Loch Ness Monster is also a major draw for tourism in Scotland, with many Americans believing in her.
The Loch Ness Monster is in Scotland? With the haggis monster? I didn't know that the Loch Ness Monster was supposed to be in Scotland, actually. I didn't know that.
It's like they believe in wild haggis. Despite all the science saying there's no way a huge lake monster could be living up there, both because of how long she would have had to be alive,
oh, wow.
because it's not clear what she'd be eating, the legend persists. Even with all the debunked hoax photographs, Nessie remains beloved.
The Loch Ness Monster is classic. Classic urban legend, myth, legendary monster, that's a good example of a myth. I didn't know the Loch Ness Monster, that's one of the most famous myths. Bigfoot, very famous.
Number 2, Paul McCartney is dead.
Huh?
So why not to the moon?
The myth is Paul McCartney is dead? He's very much alive, at least right now, at the filming of this video. Paul McCartney is alive. The myth is, when did he die? Why would he be dead? 'Cause when I get you alone. There's like interviews with him. He does concerts still and interviews. Like, what? What do you mean he's dead?
Widely dubbed music's biggest conspiracy, there's a popular belief that Paul McCartney died in a car accident in 1966.
What?
People point to alleged clues in Beatles lyrics and the design of their album covers, saying that lines in Sgt. Pepper say that not only was McCartney replaced with a lookalike, but that his lookalike's name is Billy Shears.
Billy Shears? Paul McCartney died in 1966? This is like the opposite of Elvis. There's the theory that Elvis is alive, and the theory that Paul McCartney died in a car accident? Let me introduce to you the one and only Billy Shears.
Even today, people analyse McCartney's face and say he looks different from how he did before 66, and the rumours got so out of hand that Life magazine headed to McCartney's house in 1969 to investigate.
What? Hey, pardon me. They actually investigated this? They actually investigated this.
For asking, but who's that little old man? What little old man? That little old man. Oh, that one, that's my grandfather.
I've never heard of this one. I don't know what to think about this. I don't think it's true. It's kind of funny. I wonder what Paul McCartney thinks. Or what the Paul McCartney imposter thinks.
Even decades on, and people still believe McCartney perished all that time ago. Number 1. Queen Bess was a man.
This is number 1, and I have no idea what we're talking about. Who is Queen Bess? Queen Bess. Was that a British queen? And she was a man. No idea.
Can a woman really rule an entire country? Well, no, not according to some pseudo-historians and conspiracy theorists.
There is no proof against the Lady Elizabeth.
She's plainly guilty. What need is there of proof?
For years, a strange story that Elizabeth I died as a child and was replaced by a young boy, who then grew up to be the Queen, has circulated among some people.
Elizabeth I died as a child and was replaced by a man? This is one of the weirdest myths on the list. Maybe that's why it's number 1.
As evidence, they cite her lack of heirs, refusal to marry, and military skill.
The Queen is dead!
Military skill? Like no woman could be skilled at managing a military? That's what we're going with? That's one of the theories? Really? I don't know about that.
Long live the Queen!
However, everybody who actually knows about the subject knows that this story is completely wrong. After all, wouldn't Henry VIII have noticed if his daughter got swapped? Plus, many women choose not to get married or have children, and can rise through the ranks of the army if they're allowed to join.
Yeah!
If Robert has committed treason, it must be made example of.
And I will make an example of him.
Do you agree?
What the heck? This was a weird day. And I guess, what do you expect when you're looking at 10 British myths? That's kind of what you signed up for. So in that sense, I enjoyed this. This was entertaining, kind of funny, kind of disturbing. So I'm thinking back to the Vans and the Spiders. Paul McCartney might be dead. What the heck? But I did enjoy this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of these British myths. Do you believe them? Do you not? That'd be fun to hear about. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and learning about British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.